Welcome to the ESPN Honolulu Virtual Sports Fest. We're really happy to have the new University of Hawaii baseball coach, Rich Hill, joining us as a coach. I know you are super excited to get the baseball season started. I mean, we're 8 months away? I mean, we're almost there.
Hey, every day is baseball season in my world, and it seems like Hawaii too. What a passionate baseball community that we all have there. So, hey, no days off, man. Every day is baseball season. You're right, Josh.
You know that quite well. I mean, you've been recruiting athletes from Hawaii who play baseball, and that's kind of what we wanted to get into today. Talking about youth baseball, you've seen it coaching for a long time in San Diego, and you're seeing it here, and you've known about it here. So let's talk about youth baseball, and before we get to your vision, start with what you've seen over the time you've been coaching collegiately. How have you seen the growth of youth baseball, from how it's played, how coaches coach it? What have you seen?
Well, I think there's a lot of tentacles to that question. First, if you start with just a kid that's 5 years old, 6 years old, up till age 12. In the old days, it was Little League baseball. And Hawaii has such a proud tradition of competing at the highest level. In Little League baseball, in the Little League World Series, etc. That's where it all starts. And I can just remember, going to Candlestick Park as a kid, walking through those doors and seeing the green and seeing Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and Juan Marichal, and later the A's, with the Oakland Coliseum when they were winning championship. And so you just fall in love with baseball as a kid. That's where the state of Hawaii really can make a profound impact on these young people. We have a rule in our baseball program. You have to be your kid's coach. Now, if that means volleyball, if it means soccer, gymnastics, or baseball, our young people that come out of the University of Hawaii baseball program, we believe are going to be so dialed in and have such great leadership skills and are going to be great fathers and great husbands and great community members that they need to be, impacting those young kids. I've seen Little League baseball kind of disappear almost here on the mainland for sure. Really the travel ball thing has just kind of suffocated Little League baseball. Travel ball, can be really good and it can be really bad. The internet can be really good and can be really bad. I think when you start focusing on winning tournaments and getting trophies when you're 10 years old, that's bad. When you focus on actually, skill development and working together for the common goal and teamwork and what it means to be respectful to your teammates and how to try your best. And when things don't go your way, you don't have a tantrum. All those things that we learn through sports, specifically the game of baseball, you can learn in the travel ball situation. There's just a dark side to it. The other dark side to it is money. Kids that don't have the money to do that, especially here on the mainland and in Hawaii, they're going to lose out, on some of that really good coaching.
It's an interesting dynamic, when we think of Little League. I mean, you talked about going to Williamsport. You've talked about going to regionals. When you talk with a youth coach, because, as a recruiter, you do your homework, you're talking to a lot of different people. When you talk to a youth coach, talk about a specific player, even going up the ranks, going through high school, what allows you to see what that coach is doing right that is building that specific player?
Well, I mean, organically, I think of, somebody like Kaha Wong, over, on the Big Island, and how, his players are tough. They're respectful. I mean, it's yes, sir, no, sir. I mean, these guys sprint on and off the field. They don't bat flip. They don't, jog to first base. Those kinds of things, are controllable W's, and it's about playing the baseball game the right way. And someone like his organization, and all of the organizations on Hawaii, HBG, Elite, 808 Elite, they're all really, really good at that, and that's the thing I love about Hawaii. And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but, just the surfing thing, when I'm in the water in Hawaii with Groms, it's great because in Hawaii, the Hawaiians have been taught the kids to respect their elders, and man, I noticed that right away. And in California, sometimes most of the time that's really not the case, but that's what we look for, Josh. I look for, in recruiting, I want to see how a kid reacts, after he makes an error. If a kid's a pitcher, I want to see how that pitcher reacts after his shortstop makes an error. How does he react on a bad call from the umpire? How's the body language? How is the hustle? Those types of intangibles are very, very important to me and our staff here at UH.
If you had to put a percentage when you look at what you're recruiting, how much of it is that mental acumen? How much of it is the skill? How would you say that percentage ratio is when you're recruiting an athlete?
Well, there's three parts to that question. Character first. We can't, I don't care how good a kid is, if we've got some bad character issues that are going to impact and affect the group, then we really have to assess risk reward. And most of the times we just don't do it. I really believe all kids are good kids. They are the way they are for a reason. And I think that's our specialty. We can kind of dive in, root around there with some of these young adult males, get to some of the issues that they may be having character-wise, and support those guys with all of these great kids around them. And then they end up rising up and being extremely successful. But the mental part of it, the character part of it, very difficult to assess in the recruiting. That's the number one thing it's the hardest, for me. You can see a guy's tools, lightning fast hands, feet, glove is great, arm. But the mental side, when the chips are down and there's a quote pressure situation, a big AB, a big pitch, how do they react? Can they really perform, in a state championship game? Those kinds of things are super important to us, and a staple of our program.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that you really want to achieve, because you don't just want to be a baseball coach at a university. Right. You really want to grow the sport in general. But I want to ask you one more question. I want to go back to coaching. If a coach, whether he works with the little leaguers or works with the high schoolers, if a coach came to you and said, "Hey, Coach Hill, what's the one thing that I need to know before anything else, about how to be a successful coach to these youngsters 18 and below?" What is that one thing amongst all else that you'd tell that coach?
Bring the positivity, right, every day. Bring an enthusiasm unmatched to mankind. Be extremely organized and be a great role model. Pretty simple stuff, and you notice none of that.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Coach. I think your video turned off there for a second.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, Coach.
I'm going to read. What was the question again?
Yeah. I'll repeat the question. If a coach came to you, high school, little league, whichever, and said, "Coach Hill, what's the one thing above all else, that I need to know to be a successful coach to these baseball players, regardless of age?" What is that one thing that I need to know?
To bring the optimism every day, to be super encouraging no matter what to your young people, and to bring an enthusiasm unmatched to mankind on a daily basis. Be super organized and be a great role model. Those 5 things, none of them had to do anything with drag bunting down the third base line correctly or hitting the cutoff man. So it's all those intangibles when you're, really teaching these young guys before they get to college, how to be a man, how to be a ball player.
Let's talk a little bit about what you want to accomplish at the University of Hawaii. And a lot of it is, as you have been, very, very much clear on with a lot of people, is not just about the successes at Les Murakami Stadium, and it's not just about the successes in the classroom, but also the successes of growing the sport here as well. So what are some of the initiatives and things that you're looking to do here that can help grow the game, regardless of age level and regardless of skill level? What are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, we're going to really emphasize camps and clinics. First of all, we're going to run a 6-week program starting mid-June, run into August 1st at Les Murakami Stadium, ages 5 to 12. The cost is going to be, super beneficial, to the families of Oahu specifically, and of the neighbor islands who want to come over for that 4-day stretch. We got a great staff that's going to be running those camps. We have great role models, our players and the coaches, local coaches that'll be doing that. We're also going to go to the neighbor islands. We've had discussions with a nonprofit group there. Just had a great lunch the other day with going to Maui, going to Kauai, heading out to Kahuku area, West Side, Kona, Hilo, and just doing a 3-hour clinic. We suit up in those nice rainbow uniforms. We look big league, white baseballs, shiny bats, gloves. And we go to the kids, in these communities for free, do a 3-hour clinic. And we do some motivational stuff there too with some nickels. And, we talk about being a good teammate and how to act and how to do your homework and listen to your parent, so all that stuff's included for the little guys. We're going to have prospect camps twice a year for all of the local players, local high school age players in Oahu and the neighbor islands. We're also going to have team camps every Thursday night at the Les, where we'll bring in 2 teams. But we'll have 2 games, 4 teams each. So we really want to have the youth experience coming to the University of Hawaii and seeing, these college players. They get to be on a college campus. So it gets them thinking about college. It gets them thinking about opportunity. And through the game of baseball, we can teach them life lessons that they're going to learn to put the gloves on and go out in life. So yeah, this thing's about much bigger than, winning a Big West championship and playing in the NCAA regional and, W's. It's about impact in the community and specifically impacting the youth of Hawaii.
Last thing I want to ask you, Coach, there's obviously a reason why you are so committed to this. Not just it's not because it's your job, it's because you obviously love it. What do you remember about your time being young and playing baseball that really made you this passionate about the sport that you've really turned into a career?
My dad, was coaching a little league team before I was old enough to play on one, and I just remembered, that's in the 70s, riding your bike to the little league field and staying there all day and playing a 9:00 game and hanging out, and eating red vines, from the snack shack. So you develop that love, and then you start going to big league games and, being with your friends, and you just, it's just something it's very intrinsic. It's hard to really put your thumb on. But, I found that love and found that passion at an early age. And then I always knew I was going to coach, so I always paid attention to what the managers were doing, my high school coaches. I played high school football at a great high school, Saratoga on the mainland, which was kind of like the De La Salle before De La Salle, kind of like St. Louis, when they had those teams there. And they probably still do. I'm probably mistaken, but it's that love of sport, and then specifically the love of baseball that just, I don't know, it's just kind of in my blood.
Coach, it's good to chat with you, and I think it's exciting to see your vision for how youth baseball and an extension how that can impact how people coach in other youth sports, how to really grow the game here in Hawaii. And it's so good to see you wanting to be an active part of that. We'll see you back here closer to the season at the Les, and thank you so much.
Josh, thank you. One more thing too, we're going to have coaches clinics too. That's the other thing I forgot to talk about is, free coaches clinics, once a year, where all the high school coaches, youth coaches from Oahu and neighbor islands will come to the Les, spend all day, have a cookout at lunch, be able to ask, our pitching coach questions, our hitting coach questions, our base running, how we do drills. They'll be able to see us practice, so it's not only the youth, but it's also the coaches, that have that direct impact on the youth of Hawaii. It's like Billy Graham said, man, a coach, has an opportunity to impact more people in one season than most people do in a lifetime.
Absolutely. Coach, looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Aloha.
Awesome. That was you make that really easy, Coach.
Ah, man.
Nice.
My goal is one take all the time.
I wish I could do that.
Right?
I wish.
Do that on commercials.
Yeah, it's rare.
I got you.
Enjoy your outside office, and let me know when you make it in town. I got to catch up with you one day.
I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you, man. See ya.
Thanks, Coach. Take care.
Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, Keegan. See you, man. Bye.
See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.